Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Rima Amud Aleph, sixth to last line. Amar Rab Hizda Amar Rabbi Amir Rabba Amar Divat B'Simin Lo Tunecha Lecha Rabba Necha Lo Yikra Ba'olecha. Lo Tunecha Rabba, that refers to Shlo Yishlot B'Hen Yitzhara, no Yitzhara will not control you. B'Necha Lo Yikra Ba'olecha Shlo Tamatzah Ishtecha Safek Nida B'Sha'a Shetavo Min Haderech. Person won't be put in tempting situations. For example, if a person comes back from traveling and his wife is a safek nida, so there's no elimination of doubt. There's still a doubt if she's muteret to him, and therefore it might be a temptation for the guy to sin. So the Hashem, that's a beracha that there won't be temptations. You won't have bad thoughts or dreams. You also won't have a student or son that will embarrass you in public with his behavior. Ad kan berachot aviv. At that point was Shlomo's father making berachot. These are the type of berachot that father gives his son. Become Elach Perkatim, learning his mother's blessings. All these things are motherly blessings to be careful and protected. Till that point was his mother's berachot. Become Elach after that, berachto Shemayim, Hashem himself blessed in Kiva, Hashem Valatel, as they avoid Hashem, Berakana, Benenu, Giman, Nachib, Besra, Halsel, Ahmadeu, Orach, Mimma, as they over Ereb Shwati. All these berachot is Hashem saying, I will provide. Okay. Rabbi Shimon Lakish, my תכתיב עוד פסוק מין, וימנע ברשעים העולם לזרוע רמה תשבר. מה עין של רשעים תלויה? The word, by the word רשעים, the ayin afterward in the scripture is elevated above the word. Why is that the case? Why is it suspended higher? When a person teaches that when a person loses all his friends in this world, he creates only enemies in this world. He'll also be similarly in next world. So if that's the case, don't put an ayin. Just the word rash will teach you that. Rashi says no. Why? The reason is because we don't want to say that it's automatic because David HaMelech, even though he had many enemies, that wasn't because he was a bad person, as is because people were jealous of him. Right? Only applies to a bad person. Other opinion holds, also him had similarly also had many enemies, but not because he was wicked. Remember, Menashe every time he used to learn Vayikra, he used to learn a different Haidush every year. While every year that he was king. Right? It shows that they weren't completely terrible. Ahab 85 Hidushim, Yerevam Me'al Shushan, Yerevam had 103. Tanabeh says, here Miriam says, Avshalom in lo Hilakim Ba, Avshalom was their badliest son of David. There's no portion next which Nemar Vayaku et Avshalom Vamitu Vayaku Belmazet this world, and we should two of them by the next world as well. Tanabeh said, Rishon Ahaz Vachazia Vachmei Israel Shavdu Behen Vayasara Ben Hashem, all these kings that says that they did bad in the eyes of Hashem, Lo Hayin V'lo Nadin. They don't come to life in Tihad Matim, but they also don't go to Gehinam. They're just in between. They just float around. Menashe killed so much innocent blood, he filled Yerushalayim from one side to the end. Besides the fact that he calls people to Zerah. What's that mean? I was referring to that he killed the Yeshaya, which is equal to the whole city. But Amri says, he also made an idol that was so hard that it required 1,000 men to carry it. And whoever would carry it would die that day. That's why there'll be so much blood in Yerushalayim. What is according to Whose opinion that holds that the one neshama of a tzaddik is equal to the whole world is the opinion that holds that Menashe killed Yeshaya. That's why it said Yerushalayim was filled with blood. Steve, says Pesach, the Menashe made it one Avodah Zarah. Uktiv Pesach also meant multiple. Rabbi Yochanan Batkila also loved parts of Echad. Initially only put one. But so far, Rabbi Tzrin he made four. So that in the Echal we put it in four different directions, it will be visible from all areas, and Hashem should get upset. Ahaz Amidu Aliyah Achad put an idol in the upper chamber of the Mikdash. Nemar B'dim Zachot Hashem Ahaz Menashe Amidu B'Hechal. Menashe put it in the Echal. Shemar B'Yasim the Pesach Hashira Asher Asad. The Bayat Asher Amar Hashem L'Dibri Yishlomo B'no. However, Amon, put it inside the Bet HaKodesh. Made it worse. Amon Shnemar, Ki Katzal HaMatzah B'Shrei B'Machzeh Chatran HaKnes. Rabbi Shimon, my Ki Katzal HaMatzah Mihistareya. What does that mean? That it's too short to stretch out. Rabbi Shimon Rahman Reifhan, This means that it was the Beit HaMikdash can't have two different authorities in it. يعني you can't have Hashem in there and also Avodah Zarah. فأما سيخترع مرة بيشموال برنخمني بخمن دون كيابا مثل ما يكرا ونبي خمن كنت إذا مثلا كنت بسوق هذا أخي سكراي ميش كتاب بو كونس كند ميام that Hashem was written that he used to gather people like the water تعصب ما سيخترع you're gonna put in Avodah Zarah as like a competition in the Heichal Ahaz b'tel avodah. Ahaz stopped the avodah of Beit Hamikdash. B'hatam Torah, and he sealed off the Torah. Shneimar Tzor ta'atom Torah b'limudai. Menashe kadar ta'achzirot. He cut out the names of Hashem from the Torah, Sefer Torah. V'haras the mizbeach, and he tore down the mizbeach. Amon went further. Saraf the Torah, burnt the Torah. Ve'elas namit gam mizbeach. He outlawed bringing korbanot, which caused the Beit Hamikdash, the mizbeach, to become neglected and full of cobwebs. It has hitir dereva. It has allowed forbidden relationships. Minashe ba chotom and Hashem's own sister. Amon, however, one step further, Bala Imo went with his own mother. Shneimar ki hu Amon hirba ashma. Rabbi Yochanan Elazar Hanamar Sifra was refers to either he burned the Torah, or Hanamar Sheba Imo was burned his mother. Amr Imo, when his mother saw that he wanted to be with her, she said to him, "You're gonna have any pleasure from being with the place that you came from? Meaning you're not doing this for pleasure. Impossible." Marla, he told her. I'm doing it just to bother Hashem. When Joachim came along, he said, the previous kings didn't know how to truly anger God. Let me show you how it's done. Do we need a sun? We have the paravim gold, which is very bright. Let God take the sun back. But also the silver and gold belongs to God. Let me said, I have a pasuk for you back. Hashem already gave it to Hashem. Pasuk says, Hashem, the earth is for us. How come Yoakim is not part of the people who did not have in our Mishnah, who was one of the kings who did not have next world? How come he wasn't part of it? Because it says, it was found on him. What does it mean it was found on him? Does that mean he didn't have enough sins? No. One says one person says he tattooed the name of Al-Azra on his male organ. One person says he put the name of God on his organ. Ouch. Regarding kings, I don't know why he wasn't included, but I didn't know why other regular people were not included. Micha wasn't included because he always used to have bread for those passing by to be eaten. More about him. Rabbi Yochanan, that piece Losh Michaz refers to Michaz of Avodah either because he was responsible for the Egel or he actually brought Avodah Zarah from Mitzrayim. From Gerav to Shiloh was 3 million, and that was the two locations of the Mizbeach and Michaz Avodah Zarah. And because they were so close, the smoke from our Mizbeach and the smoke from his Korbanot, the Avodah Zarah, would mix. The angels wanted to kill him. Hashem said, leave him. Because his bread is always available for others. Because of this, that's how the incident of the piglesh, what happened, the Bnei Yisrael were punished. Long story short, the lady was violated from Sheva Binyamin. Binyamin did not want to hand her over to be punished. And there was this massive civil war with 40,000 people died. This happened because of this incident of Micha. Okay. Amar Lehen, when Hashem told him, you never argued with Micha to stop the Avodah Zarah. But because this lady got raped, you're going to cause civil war? Hashem was upset. Giving of food and stuff to travelers, people passing by, is great. Because it banished two families from Bnei Yisrael. Ammon and Moab were not able to enter Bnei Yisrael because they didn't greet them with food. Also said, it drives people away, and it brings people close. And it causes Hashem to look away from people's averot, and also to cause people to get even a false prophet can get actual prophecy from God. If you don't do it by accident, not to provide hospitality, Hashem considered like did on purpose. Now we're going to bring proofs each one. It could bring people, it could draw people farther away. who usually would be near to you. Ma'amun and Moab, we see Ma'amun and Moab, they're kept far away, even though they could have converted. You see that it brings people close to Allah would be far from Yitro. From Yitro saying that Moshe should come eat bread with him. We see that his descendants are able to become part of Sanhedrin. As for what the Sanhedrin, we see the Kenim from Yitro were part of Sanhedrin. Okay, we see that Hashem forgives their sins, wicked people's sins, if they do this. They give food to people traveling. We see from Micha. And Idon Navi, who was a false prophet, was able to get true prophecy because of this as well. He was feeding people and Hashem prophesied with him. We see people get punished even if they fail to provide hospitality, they get punished on purpose from the following case. If Yonatan just gave David bread when he left, Nov wouldn't have had to provide David food. Thereby, they wouldn't have been killed. Therefore, the egg wouldn't have been banished from the next world. And then also Shaul and his sons wouldn't have been killed as well for punishment. How come Ahaz was not included as part of the king's no Olam Haba? Of the king, because Ahaz was placed between the generations of two Tzaddikim, Ben Yotam and Hezekiah. Because he was embarrassed when Yoshiyahu caught him sinning. My koves means koves. He hid himself, he didn't want to be seen. He put a basket over his head so he is not seen by Yoshiyahu. Was not included. Because he had a tzaddik son of Yoshiyahu. Okay, but also should be excluded because his father Hezekiah was tzaddik. Because no, bara mizakeh abba, a righteous son can earn merit for his father. A father can help out his son. The enemy of the masil. Therefore, Abraham cannot save Ishmael from punishment. And Yitzhak matil Esav can help. Yitzhak can help Esav. And so over here, Menashe couldn't be saved from his father Hezekiah. Whereas Hasha, now that you know this, the son can help his father. Because Hezekiah helped out his father. Was not included because of the following concept. We had this before in 22 ago, Daf 82, Pibet, that it said on the Hakim's skull, this and another be two the punishments. Like what happened? The grandfather found a skull at the Yerushalayim gates. And he found the skull, said this and another. He tried to bury it, it kept popping out of the ground. Amar, he said, he must be the skull of Hakim. Amar, Amar Makahu, he said, it must be a king, and therefore it shouldn't be embarrassed. He wrapped in a skull and they put it in a chest. As the depicted his wife saw it, she thought, it must be my husband's first wife who he still has feelings for. She burnt it. And that's the reason why it says this and another, two punishments. His skull was unburied and his skull was unburnt. Tanya. Therefore, that was his punishment, and therefore he was able to merit the next world. Tanabah says, because Hezekiah sinned and said, I will do good in your eyes. Ma'ot, he was then came to sin. One sin led to the next. He sinned by asking God for a sign, for a proof that something was going to happen. Because he said that, he sinned again in having he honored non-Jewish kings to sit by his table, which which then caused the children to go into Galut. Whoever invites a goy to his house to eat and serves him, it causes his children to go to Galut. Hezekiah, when he's hosting them, he showed them this better know how to. Nechoto. Marav, what is Rav? My bet Nechoto. What does it mean? He shorted them. Ishto Hishketel either means that Hiskiah's wife poured them drinks, which is not appropriate. Shmuel, Bet Genazav had Elohim or Hiskiah showed them in his treasure house. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Zayin Ochel V'Zayin had Elohim. He showed them very powerful weapons. Basically, when they came, he hosted them, fed them. Either he showed them his weapons, or his wife poured them drinks and showed them his treasure house. Inappropriate things. Echa Yasheva Badad. Right? All this led to the destruction of the Mikdash. Now we're going to talk about Echa, which talks about the destruction of the Mikdash that we read on the Shabbat. We sit alone. How come Bnei Israel were described with using Echa? Because they were over on all 36 sins of the Torah that have karet. And Echa is 36. How come they were Bnei Israel were punished with the Aleph Bet? Yani the Pasukim of Echa has an Aleph Bet order. If they were because they went against the Torah, it's not Aleph Bet, which is given to them through Aleph Bet. Yasheva Badad they sat by himself. Hashem said, I blessed Bnei Israel to sit in a beautiful land as kings with grain and wine and gorgeous. Because now, because of their sins, now they're going to sit alone. Ha'ir Rabati Am, they had many people. They used to they used to marry a young girl to older guy and a young older girl to a young man. That used to help make more children. Bnei Israel Yerushalayim became like a widow. Like a widow, but not exactly a widow. Like a woman who's husband overseas, and he wants to come back. So Yerushalayim, Bnei Israel is not completely left behind by Hashem, like a true widow, but Hashem is going to come back. Grace amongst the nations, princesses amongst the nations. This means whenever they go into exile, they become princes of their masters, meaning they're people who find them, Bnei Israel, are amazed and love them for their intelligence and their intellect and what they contribute. We'll continue this tomorrow.